Good morning. We're in Genesis 39 and we're on YouTube at Preach Facts. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, brought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And a point to make about this story, y'all, is that it's literally like a movie because there's two timelines. You got the, in a movie you'll be watching it and it'll be one scene over here and next it'll be over here. So it's following one thing, it's following two things. It's following Joseph and it's following the brothers at two different locations. I just want to throw that out there. Okay. Same timeline, two different areas. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time we've seen that simultaneously. So, point to make. All right, and yesterday, guys, I wanted to say that something that had dawned on me, I think, is that, okay, when as a more abstract meaning to get from 38 is that when Judah gave up his signet and his staff and his bracelets and all that valuable stuff when he had sex with that prostitute. That's pretty much what we're doing in the world when we give up our inheritance for whatever this worldly stuff is. We're giving up this momentary stuff for these little 100 years that we live, or these little 50 years or 60 years. When we give up what we actually have, or supposed to be getting, that's basically what we're doing here with this thing. For one night of fun, or one little 5 minutes of fun, he gives up all of his valuable stuff and his reputation and everything else, so that when the devil shows up, he's going to say, ha, look what I got. Like she did. She said, whoever this belongs to, that's who the Father is. And they all knew who it was. After he had said, put her to death. He said, put her to death. Who the harlot is. He said, oh, darn, that was me. So, to me, that's an image, like I said, of what we give up. For that's a value comparison of what we give up for that. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Okay, we give up when we go do our drugs, when we get involved in these addictions, stuff like that. Whatever it be, all those crazy addictions. Anything that's gonna give some type of payload to you, addictions, something like that. A sin, of course. So that's what that means to me, and I can expand on that, but I'll let y'all expand with your own minds about what that's supposed to mean for you. For me, it was drugs and stuff. I'm clean and sober now, just saying. That's what that means. In that chapter, I'm positive that's what that means. It's a simple image of giving up something super valuable willingly. He thought he was going to get it back. That's the thing. He thought he was going to get it back. He didn't really think he was not going to get his stuff back. And that's the way we think. We don't really think that we're not going to lose our stuff. We don't even think we have stuff. But guess what? You do lose your stuff. You do lose your stuff. He didn't plan on losing it, but he lost it. That's just the way that works. You lose your stuff when you do stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he ended up getting it back, but not without losing his reputation and everything like that. You know, he went through a lot to get that back. I'm pretty sure. He said something about you're more righteous than me or something. But I brought my other Bible down here. I'm gonna look at this just to see what it said on that real quick. It says, let's see. Okay. But I'm not really seeing anything. There was not. Okay, so. Alright, so we're going on, y'all. I was just looking at the notes. Sorry for that. About that chapter. I didn't really see anything that stood out that was more than what we talked about. We do a lot here. We do a lot. Okay. It was basically saying that the line of Judah, he didn't really say anything that we weren't saying, so we're good. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. And the Lord. So, guys, once again, all of these slippery slope arguments about how evil is not supposed to exist and all that, and because of that, God isn't real, that is a slippery slope argument. Okay? Classic. Because, you know, and his master saw 39:3. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. Verse 4. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him. And he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand. The Lord was with Joseph, y'all. That's an important point. Yeah, the Lord. It's very important, guys, that they noted. They noted, y'all, that the Lord, Jesus Christ, is the same God back here. That's a very important point. The Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord. You know, it's the same dude. It's the same dude. Okay. Or even if he isn't, it's the same family, it's the same dude. Trinity, whatever you want to call it, it's the same personality. These little technicalities and these little stuff that y'all are saying, man, about God, the Son of God, this and that, God can't be God, Jesus can't be God. All of that is doing nothing. Whether he is or isn't, is a family member, an ambassador, him himself, doesn't really matter. It's what you're supposed to be. Acknowledge that God, or if not God, a direct descendant or a close family member, immediate family member, and show that same type of reverence. Don't sit here and try to pick apart everything like it's a freaking cheeseburger with onions on it, and you want to take the onions off. Ridiculous. Just eat your burger and chill. Stay off the playpen. Which way did he go, George? And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer of his house, and it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. You know, it's important to note again, this is a Christ picture. The whole Bible is a Christ picture. Every chapter in here, just about, I don't say all of them, but 95% of stuff points toward the Christ. I mean, it's an image of the Christ picture, what that means for us. But that's just life, you know. I mean, that's just life. But yeah, really. So I just want to bring that up again, as I do often as possible. It's a Christ picture. For his sake, for his sake, for his sake. He doesn't look at our sins because of his sake. Because it's for Christ's sake that we're okay. It's everything happens in the sake of Christ relevant to us. As humanity, as the human race, that's everything is relevant to us that matters to where we're going. You know, when you go get on a jet plane and you're gonna go leave to go out of town on a jetliner airplane, you know, you got to go through that gate, that terminal. There's no other way you're getting on that plane. You got to buy your ticket. You got to go through that terminal, and that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here as humans. We have to go through that terminal to get where we're going. Okay. So don't sit here and act like you're going to get where you're supposed to go, or that there is an actual destination, or that there isn't an actual destination when you see proof about you all the time here. All the time this stuff happens. Everybody comes into the world through the womb. You know. Everybody's heart stops beating. So there isn't across the board type of stuff going on. Okay? Don't act like you don't have no criteria against you when everybody has criteria on other fronts. So you want to go out of town, you got to go to Alaska, You want to go to Greenland, Ireland, guess what? You're going to have to buy a ticket and get on that train, get on that plane. Because there's really no other way. You try to take a boat, whatever, guess what? Y'all aren't going to make it. There's going to be some type of friction going on there. So, every day doesn't have to be action-packed, y'all. It's just be a regular day. We're just reading our Bible. Every day we're pushing on. But the show's not over yet. Show's not over yet, okay? I gotta go cut grass immediately after this. If you're in the Gwinnett area, Gwinnett, Georgia, Beaufort, Cumming, Hall County, Forsyth County, Gwinnett, we do lawn care. Lawn care and junk removal, okay? That's what we do. You can reach out at the Gmail at preachfacts7@gmail.com. preachfacts7@gmail.com. Okay. So the Lord, it's important to note that the Lord is blessing him in his field works and his house works. Everything that he's got going on is blessed. You might say to yourself, well, what does that look like? I ask the same question. It's okay to ask questions. What does that look like to be blessed? I'm gonna leave that alone. To me, if you're not burning in hell, you're blessed. Okay? That's where my blessing starts. That's me and my blessing. If I'm not in agony and in pain and I can have food on my table, I'm blessed. Okay? If I'm not in pain and I have food, I'm blessed. Yeah, that's where my blessings are at. I don't know about y'all. I repeat, if I'm not in pain and I have food to eat and work to do, I'm blessed. Okay, that's what that looks like for me. Okay, so these folks kill me, man. I was on the live last night and they were having this. One of my buddies shared the live with me and I tried to go on, but I'm suspended for a week. And all I heard was the church pews are empty. We can't really prove him to be there or not there. And then I said, well, how do you explain gematria or gematria? Whichever correct pronunciation is, I think it's gematria. I've heard it say gematria before. I said, how do you explain that? That's mathematics. That's all they said, bro. I mean, really? That's all it is mathematics. Okay. Fair enough. Point made that you can't say anything because it is more than mathematics. Point made. Point made. Point made. That's the nail in the coffin. That's pretty much it, the gematria thing. Okay. That's okay. Didn't go anywhere with that conversation because it's not adding up. what they're saying. That's just one obvious reason. Why do you think they made it a thing if it's not something? All right. Oh, it's nothing. It's just mathematics. Okay. All right. And that's just a lake. That's just a thunderstorm coming in. That's just a tornado. And that's just a great white shark. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Whew. That was a short conversation. They didn't want to say anything about it. All right. The wisest thing that they said was, we can't prove him or disprove him. We don't have to prove. He just said, I'm God. Here. Died on the cross, rose again, parting Red Seas, miracles. The apostles are doing miracles. God don't have to do anything. He's already done everything. So it's not, God doesn't have to be proven. He's already been proven and declared himself. So ridiculous. Okay. Nobody came out and said, hey, I'm not, there is no God. God came out and said, hey, I'm God. So it ain't like, you know, it's stupid, man. Just follow basic lines of reasoning. Slippery slope arguments. Well, if somebody said they made up the Bible, that must mean they made it up. Excuse me. And it came to pass after these things. No. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not. And he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. So I'm pretty sure what he's saying is that the Pharaoh only knew exactly what was going on was what the food he ate. Let's check over here. It's kind of unclear. 39:7. No, 6. 39:6. So he left all that he had in Joseph's charge, and because of him he had no concern about anything but the food he ate. Now that's trust. You know, that's basically what we're supposed to be doing. And it's almost a Christ picture because the God isn't worried about anything really. The sin is not really concerned anymore. It's just, I mean, can be, maybe. But yeah, there's a lot going on there. Always stuff. Now, you know, we do this every day, y'all. It doesn't have to be action-packed. It doesn't have to, I mean, it is sometimes. But the point is that we're taking our time verse by verse. We're not in no hurry. We're just here. We're 39 chapters in, y'all. This is a huge thing. You know, there's no telling what the Lord's going to do with this. But even if it's just me and my Bible, I'm okay. And I want to thank from the heart any viewers that have taken the time to watch any of my videos all the way through. And if anybody if anybody watches all of them, I don't even think there's one out there that literally sits down and watches the video every day about what we're doing here. If there's anybody out there, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and that the Lord bless you. And that the Lord may bless you in all that you do in the house and in the field. Like Joseph. So, I mean, when I sat down to do this video, y'all, it's like, I just feel like that's a healthy amount of attention to give this. Is, you know, the time frame we're doing, 50 minutes. That's a healthy amount of time for me to sit down and say I gave some effort. I put my mind into something, you know. I gave my effort. Anything less, I don't really feel like I'm giving it enough. You know, I'm sitting down, I'm setting my time aside to make a commitment to study the Word in a manner that's applicable and all that. So, anyway, I just feel like anything less just wouldn't be an effort, a sincere effort. So here we are, guys, every day. Doesn't always have to be action-packed, but we're here. But and he knew, and Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. I guess that means he was good looking. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, "Lie with me." Sheesh. But he refused and said unto his master's wife, "Behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he had to my hand." Let's check over here. And to me, that's an image of, okay, God giving us free will and stuff. I mean, to a certain extent. Don't run away. Don't mess up. Don't mess this up. You got a lot of potential in your hand to do stuff. To me, that's the image of that. When we're given a lot of stuff with this humanity and this godliness that we have, it's not recognized. Don't mess it up, because there's going to be stuff out there enticing. Don't throw away your plane ticket. Don't give away your signet and all that stuff for a donkey. I mean, don't throw away your life's inheritance and your reputation and everything that is valuable for a 10-minute quickie. Or 2-minute, 10-minute, 5-minute, I don't know, 30 seconds. Don't throw that all away for that, okay? Because that's what's going on here in the world. So we're going to 39 over here. Verse 8. Okay, it says, "But he refused and said to his master's wife, Behold, because of me my master has no concern about anything in the house, and he has put everything that he has." In other words, he's saying, I can't do this because my master has already given. It just goes against all grains. He knows that his master wouldn't like that, although he's been fully entrusted. I'm sure it looks good. I'm sure it's like, oh wow, I could do this. But he's got enough sense to know. Not only it's a multiple facet standpoint, because not only is he not going to get away with it. Number two, it's not right. So he's thinking with multiple heads at this point. Okay, you're not going to get away with it, obviously. Number, she's going to throw it into her. She's going to throw it up at his face. He ends up getting thrown in prison over it. He ends up getting in prison. She ends up saying that he tried to rape her or something like that. Because he wouldn't. So he was, screwed up if you did and screwed up if you didn't. This is a kid-friendly channel. There's nothing we say here that can't be shown on kids. Children can watch this channel. Okay? We don't do any cussing here. Try not to. This is a friendly channel. This is a friendly channel for all. So, he does the right thing and still gets thrown in prison. Which is we'll get there. There's none greater in this house that I. Neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? And that's a good point, because he's saying, look, we have everything here in the world. And we have everything going on. Don't take matters into your own hands and try to be greedy and have everything your way. You already have everything at your fingertips. You just don't want to get it how you want it, when you want it. You know, there's a place for everything in the world. Making merry, having a beer at a Christmas. Don't quote me on this, but there is a place for everything in the world. I say everything, not everything, but he's basically saying he has everything but you. He's saying the only thing I can't have is you. So you think I'm going to throw away everything? It's just multiple reasons. What is your motive? Is it because you don't want to get caught, or is it because you know it's not right? Because it can go either way. It can be either, or a little of both. It's supposed to be both. I mean, it's supposed to be because you know it's not right. So I'm trying to show you the moral compass and how diverse that can be on one situation. And how he's trying to show you the degree of stuff going on with the decisions that we make and what it can mean. It's not just, okay, did he not sleep with the wife? It's, okay, why? What is his mindset on that? Because, 90% of the world, probably me too, would be like, because I'm judging myself when I read the two. When I think about that, it's like, oh, yeah, you want to. And you probably would if you can get away with it. But, he knows he's not going to get away with it, this and that. So, I just have to be honest, But, coming from a more at the new man perspective. You know, we're not supposed to be doing that. So I just want to show you that God is judging your heart when you read this to see where you're at. So, behold, she's basically forcing herself on him. Oh, come here. You know, it's just, she's kind of a forward type of woman. I mean, you know, in a position of power and all that. They're alone. Must be nice. That's all I can say. He must be a good-looking dude, I guess. No, but seriously. I just want to make sure we're getting the whole moral implication of what's going on here. Because there's a lot going on here, how to look at this. And I'm pretty much trying to cover all of it. But decisions are not just gray, black and gray. There's a lot of ways to look at it. Okay, he doesn't want to get caught. But he's operating from an ethical standpoint. That this is not the Pharaoh trusts him completely. So to go against this, to do this would betray that trust potentially. I mean, not potentially. It just would. So when you're operating at that type of level, when you're just doing stuff based on principles, that's where you want to be at. That's where you want to be at. Nope, this isn't right. My master wouldn't want it. It would be a problem. It's just not something I should do. Not to mention, you will get caught and it won't be kept secret and that. But we need to be operating at a principled standpoint first. Really, just first and only. You know, the mind is always going to do its thinking about what could happen. So the point is that we need to be operating from a place of principle. Okay, that's what that is. But that's not the way the world is, really. It's, oh, this looks good, let's do this. Wow, what an opportunity. That type of thing. That type of thing. So that's what this is going on here. It's judging your moral care compass. It should be sharpening us to see where we're at. Because I guarantee you 90% of the people that read this are going to be like, whoa, gnarly, bro, I would have went for that. You know, and I would have went for that, you know. Yeah, I would have went for that. That's what 90% of the people are saying. Or at least thinking about it, you know. That's the first thing that goes through my mind. I'm not going to lie. You telling me that his wife pulled up on you? I mean, that's crazy. But, you know, that's what this Bible does. It's showing us how shallow we are. It's showing us how shallow we are and what we're supposed to be doing. So, 39 verse 10. And it came to pass that she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be. She's taunting him. There's no telling what she's doing, you know. Brushing up against him, probably touching him, you know, exposing herself. Who knows what she's doing? She's really getting in his head at this point. And it's really kind of cruel at this point because he doesn't really want to say anything because it would just bring stress to the Pharaoh, I'm sure. So let's read on. But yeah. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, See, he hath brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and cried with a loud voice. Let's check up here because it's getting kind of vague. 39:14. She called to the men of her household and said to them, See, he has brought among us a Hebrew to laugh at us. He came in to me to lie with me. And I cried out with a loud voice, and as soon as he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried out, he left his garment beside me and fled and got out of the house. So she literally, and this is a classic Satan picture. Satan is the accuser. Look, God, I told you they weren't righteous. Look what they're doing. Look. Look. Because Satan is just going to use your own stuff against you. He's not going to really make you do anything. He's going to lead you down paths and have you doing stuff that's going to pull you away from God or find you in a place of wanting and judgment. And that's what the devil's doing. Look what he did. Look. Told you these humans weren't worthy. I told you they're not worthy. I told you it was not good what you're doing here, God. Look, they're not good. They're not holy. They're not worthy. This is what's going on. So he's the biggest snitch in the world, the tattletale. There is no blow too low for him about what he can do. So when Joseph was honorable, she turned it around and said he slept with her anyway. I mean, that's pretty much a low blow as you can get. Not to mention, he's saying that he tried to force himself on her. The exact opposite of what was going on. A complete perversion of what is going on. And it's a classic Satan picture, a perversion. But the higher understanding for that is that, okay, all this is happening. God is in actually control of all this. So yeah, stuff's going on. But God's in full control. Don't worry about that. So one of my theologies is that God, and it's not Bible, is that God uses the devil as a refining tool, a sensei, a trainer, it's like the fire that purifies gold. It's something that's supposed to be training us to pass the test of many tests. So that's one. I don't know if I'm right on that. All I know is that the Bible, that the God, nothing escapes God. So don't quote me on that either. That's just my theology. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. About the devil and all that, it's just another piece of God, you know. Because when he goes up to Job and they're talking, he's like, "Oh, have you considered my servant Job?" You know, they're kicking it. Where have you been? Oh, going to and from, going back and forth on the earth. They're just talking like it's daily, like a talk show. So it's not like they don't talk. If Job is correct, it was Satan up there, and they're talking. Have you considered my servant Job? He said, do what you want, but don't lay a finger on him. He was bashing Job. So, sure enough, Job passed the test. He never gave up trusting God. So, he had his questions. He was like, oh, why? He got kind of rueful, and he was just like saying all this stuff. How could you let this happen? Da 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 da. But he never said that you're not right. He never said that you were wrong, because he knows that would be blasphemy. So it all doesn't have to make sense. So we're doing good, y'all. That's a lot of big moral points here to make about how he got the exact opposite. He did right and still got punished for doing the deed that he didn't do. I mean, that's big. He didn't sleep with her, but he still got charged for sleeping with her. Guess what? The Lord is going to see that. The Lord is with him. So let's see what happens. We got a couple minutes here. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice, and she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. Ooh. This is definitely looking like a Christ picture, because in this verse, because we're laying up, the Christ is our garment. We're putting him on. So, until it's time. We're maintaining the Christ. With it. We should be maintaining the Christ in our spirit. It's a maintenance. You need to feed it. You need to water it like a flower. It's not just something you take up and it's just okay. I mean, the Christ is okay. Don't get me wrong, but you need to make sure you're okay by doing your diligent work to make sure that the temple is okay. Diligence, maintaining it like you would the altar of incense and all that. They maintain the stuff in the temple. Okay, that's what we do here. So, all right, so we're gonna stop there for time, y'all. But look, we are in egg 39. I'm just going to go ahead and read this through. And she spoke unto him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. 17:18. Now, and it came to pass, 39:18. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried out, that he left his garment with me and fled out. She's talking to the Pharaoh now. And it came to, maybe not Pharaoh, but the Potiphar. I don't know if he's Pharaoh or not. I'm pretty sure it's Potiphar. Okay. So, as I lifted up my voice and cried out and cried, and he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, 19, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spoke unto him, saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph. A Satan picture. This looks like hell. A Satan picture, something like that. Okay. But the Lord, 21, was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison, 22, committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever did, this looks like a Christ picture because everything was put into his hand, or a Satan picture because Satan's in charge of that stuff, I guess, maybe. Okay, so and the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. So he's basically a trustee. Okay. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he had, the Lord made it to prosper. It's a Christ picture. The Lord is in charge. Everything's in subjection to him. The footstool under his feet, everything's been made a footstool. His enemies have been made a footstool, which is a, I'm not going down that road for time, but yeah, that's it. We're done with 39. A lot going on right there. Satan picture, the keys to death picture, the Lord picture. It's a lot going on right there. Typical stuff. Not a bunch of cherry picked prophecies that are vague. These are dead on stuff about the principalities and powers that be. We don't fight against flesh and bone. Yeah, that's not our battle. Our battle is with the forces, and this is an illustration of those forces. So guys, have a good day. We're on YouTube at Preach Facts primarily, where you have a list of all the stuff we've done from Genesis 1 to Genesis 39. And it's not me, it's y'all. Y'all are letting this happen. And it's God, it's not me. Alright guys, y'all have a good day. We got off to a slow start, but we did good on that. So we're in 40 tomorrow, y'all. Alright, have a good day.